Free MidJourney tutorial. Chapter heading graphics. I had an author who asked me how I would make these sorts of images with MidJourney, ones to use on chapter headings in your book. And of course I have a solution. So let's get to it. When I think about doing graphics like this, 5 prerequisites spring to mind. 1. They need to be black and white. 2. They need to have an illustrated style. 3. They're generally an isolated object rather than a full scene. 4. I want my own unique style. 5. I want them all to be consistent and look the same. So let's talk about how we would achieve that. Firstly, let's isolate a style. I always work this way. Style first, and then we can play around with objects in that style. So for these, we could go for a prompt like this. Black illustration of crossed swords, simple vector woodcut clip art engraving, isolated on a white background dash chaos 10-S150. These will give us that great old style book printing vibe. But there are 2 problems for me. Even though we asked for --chaos 10, there isn't really that much variance in the images. And secondly, boring. They're not unique enough. It's a style that everyone would use. So I already have a good handful of --S ref codes set up for these styles of images, which I'll share in the text below this video. So let's try some of these as well, adding the sref codes to the prompt and probably removing the woodcut engraving part of the prompt, but leaving everything else in there, maybe increasing the variance to 15. Let's run with them all. At this stage, I am less concerned with the image itself and more with the style we're getting in the image. So I like this one here. This is going to be the basis for our style, even though it's not perfect. This is how we do that. I'll click on Use, so we have our prompt in the Create bar at the top of the interface. Next, let's drag the image we liked into the same Create bar, but we need to set this to the style reference, so you need to click on the little paperclip icon. And because we're now using an image as a style reference rather than a code, we have to delete those codes, because you can't have a code and an image as a style reference. Let's see how it works. Pretty good. We can run this a few times until we find some crossed swords we like. I tend to right-click and save the one I like so it's easier to find later. So what about other pictures that we want for each different chapter heading? Just click on Use to use that prompt again and swap out the swords for a dragon's head, or a fantasy doorway, or a house on a hill, or a cat in a bucket. And we're going to get the same style every time without fail, and we can create as many images as we want and it'll always be in that style and give us the consistency our heart craves. Also, we can even make decorative elements in this style too for scene breaks if we want. With this, I'd use the same prompt but change 2 things. 1. I'd set the aspect ratio to --AR5 to 1 because we want something long and short. 2. Add the words symmetrical decorative element. We can even add some adjectives like floral or mystical or solid and simple. It's that easy. Want more tips? This has been a bit of a free lesson from me. I'll be doing more free lessons in the coming weeks on my Patreon, as well as some paid content, so be sure to sign up. And if you have any things you want to learn to do in MidJourney, ask in the comments below. I'm here to help. You see that I have my own sref codes that I've given you, but you can actually go hunting for these yourself if you want, by using the prompt below, which uses the prompt --sref random. This is a great way to find your own unique style, but be warned, it's an easy way to use up all of your fast hours. So maybe have these running on relaxed hours in the background, whilst doing something else. Once you generate them, you'll see that MidJourney gives you the numbers, so you can note these down and use them at a later date. But as you can see, it's very hit and miss.